We got a mixed bag of earnings from the banks today. Investors liking the look at the CIBC results, bidding that stock to a record high. BMO holding in, TD out of favour. Let's get more from Neela White, Senior Portfolio Manager at Blue Wing Advisory Group at Raymond James. Thank you very much. One suggestion you have for owning bank stocks is just to own a basket, and that way you're not worried about one of them, not overly worried about one of them stumbling.
Yeah, and I think right now, just because of all the news that came out yesterday and today, it tends to be a bit of a conservative barbell balanced approach. So, within a basket like ZEB, you're having equal weighted banks, you're equally weighted on the banks that have done well. You're equally weighted on the ones that are having trouble, but it allows you time until the story repairs itself, and you're still collecting about a 3.5% dividend. Right,
ZEB be the BMO Equal Weight Bank Index. Maybe we can put up a 5-year chart for that. Yeah, because, I mean, they of course, there is big divergence, but as an asset class, they tend to deliver pretty good results over the years, or have.
Yeah, and I think, it is going to take a while for TD just to sort of get through 2025, see where they land. And I think there's a bit of a trust factor. So this just gives you, exposure to that sector without making a single stock mistake. Yeah.
And as with the ZEB, according to my Bloomberg screen, gives you a yield of about 4%, just less than 4%. Yeah. It's interesting, though, poor TD, Paul Bagel, my colleague, was showing me the pages of disclosure on the money laundering measures they're putting into. So much management time and energy is going into that right now.
Now, when they first announced the news, just because I actually couldn't wrap my brain around how big could this be, we had sold out most of our TD and moved the proceeds at that point to Royal, just increasing the position. And I think now it's just holding firm and letting the story evolve.
Yeah, very frustrating. Frustrating for TD employees as well, trying to put this mess behind them.
Yes.
Bitcoin, are you a fan?
It's certainly very exciting to watch. I think we have to look at the volatility and, age and stage, and is this the right asset class for you? It's certainly the news that came out this morning makes it quite exciting just to sit and watch.
A Bitcoin fan is going to head the SEC as opposed to the current chairman, who is no admirer of crypto, it seems, or at least has concerns. Do any of your clients come to you and say, I want to hold some Bitcoin, can you put me into crypto?
No, actually, fortunately, they haven't. They've tried to wrap their brain around what is it and how does this make a difference in my account. But it's really also explaining what is the risk and the volatility. Can you actually handle that? Is there something else we could look at that maybe is just not as volatile but will add torque to your account?
Right. Yeah. The clients who express interest, are they mostly men?
Correct. Yes.
Isn't it funny? Yeah. Women. Well, it's hard to generalize, but I get the feeling women are more risk averse.
You know what? I think it's just looking at what is that end result, and maybe it's more methodical on how you get there as opposed to how quickly can you get there.
Just on, actually switching back to banks, I forgot to ask you about this. Is it your feeling that we've heard predictions of a possible mortgage price war over the next year or so? Do you feel that will hold back the bank stocks?
That's actually a bit of a hard one for me to say. I think we're in an environment now where it's going to be competition for that dollar and who's going to race the mortgage rate down to the bottom. So I think that's a possibility. If the market continues, at the pace that we're seeing right now with record highs, that might just be a smaller part of what we're looking at.
You have some stock ideas, and they have a theme. They're demographic.
Yes.
You see growth in senior housing, senior care. Your first idea here is Addus Home Care, ADDUS, and they have locations across the states.
Yes.
Senior housing, I think, or
it's
nursing
senior
homes.
Care.
Senior care. I'm sorry.
Yes.
What attracts you here to Addus?
You know what? I think when you look at the demographic trend, whether it's in North America or global, there is such a need for services, whether it's institutionally or within the home. And you're looking at more and more people wanting to age in place. Like in the US, 88% of Americans want to age in place. Well, how is that service coming to you? Because, your adult son or daughter may not be able to, change a catheter and all that sort of stuff. So we're seeing more and more of an influx of services coming up.
Oh, so I'm sorry, they don't run actual centers?
No.
Oh, they go to your home.
Correct.
I'm sorry, I got mixed up.
Yeah, personal care services. They offer hospice care, so that's more more of end-of-life care. And when you look at it, too, it is the largest growing career in North America right now, just because of the sheer need demographically.
In-home care for seniors.
Yes.
I don't know. Some people may say there's a bit of black humor here, but you are also, you're interested in the prospects of Service Corporation, the big provider of, well, death care services.
Yes.
I mean, it's all coming to us. And what draws you here again, demographics?
You know what? Again, it's demographics. So when I start looking at stocks, I think, okay, you know, quarter after quarter, you can get minor ups and downs. But in the end, what is the growing theme? It's not that people are going to get younger, but people ultimately will die. You will need to provide a service of some sort, and it could be a funeral or it could be a cremation. And I mean, ServiceNow is very responsive to its newer, younger clientele wanting environmentally friendly services. So they're responsive and innovative in that way as well. Right.
And yeah, for sure. Apparently there is a thing now called a death doula. Have you heard of? Oh, you've heard of that?
I've had death doula training, yes.
Oh, so just remind us what that involves,
Okay,
please.
so let's think of the opposite end. Everybody sort of knows what a birth doula does. It helps you with the birth and the arrival of a new person, and a death doula helps the person and their family with the exit. And I think it just creates a better experience around death.
Do they handle talking or interacting with the medical people?
Yes, they do.
And that can be tricky.
Yeah, and it's helping explaining what's happening to the person who's dying, helping with grieving, putting services in place, just helping through the whole death process.
We should have you back to talk about that sometime. Your final idea is Chartwell, a senior housing name in Canada.
Yes. You know what? I love Chartwell. They were certainly beaten up during the pandemic. You know, all long-term care facilities got a bad rap. But when you look again at the demographic and when you look at what the gap is in the healthcare system, Ontario alone has a wait list of 45,000 waiting for a nursing home bed. What fills that gap? Retirement homes. But that is also price sensitivity, right? So do you have the budget to go into retirement living as opposed to long-term care if you could get in?
Thank you very much, Neela.